Welcome back to Patroma Therapy. We're in the winter season 3, and today's episode 6 is going to be about winter drinks. So during the winter, we think of different ways to keep warm. So some of us might build a fire and sit by the fireplace, and some of us might go get some extra blankets or quilts. Some of us might have some special foods that we cook during the winter, like soup or some pies or something. And some of us just have some holiday drinks that are associated with the winter. So if you look at our cover shot, you will see a split screen. And on one side, you will see some whipped cream on top of coffee. And in that coffee is some Irish cream liqueur, which is on the right. So one of the famous Irish cream liqueurs is Bailey's, but this was a new one that I was trying. It's called St. Brendan's. And what was fascinating to me was the label. This is St. Brendan's, made in Ireland, and it is made with the Quiet Man Irish whiskey, 17% alcohol. So I'm very curious about the Quiet Man Irish whiskey. How do you feel about quiet men drinking whiskey? Are you a quiet man when you drink?
Well, I am already a quiet person, but then I'm like way more quiet when I'm drinking. Whenever I'm drinking, I basically go inside myself and stare at the wall. Are you a quiet woman when you drink?
I am a kind of a voyeur. I like to watch people when I drink. So I don't ever like to really drink at home. I like to drink outside, like sitting outside at a bar or a patio or a club or at an airport bar and just getting a drink and just watching people. So I am quiet until I find someone that I want to talk to, and then I just kind of make small talk. So I am quiet, but I don't really drink at home. I mean, like on the cover shot, like I was mentioning, there's a cup with some hot coffee, a shot of some, whiskey, and then I've got whipped cream on the top. So I'll drink whiskey in my coffee, but there's other drinks that I like that are kind of more festive. I like around Christmas and New Year's in the United States, a lot of people make eggnog. And it starts the day before. You take raw eggs and you whip the whites into peaks. And then you start off by separating the eggs, and then you take like about a dozen eggs, or maybe 18 eggs. And you take the yellow parts and you mix those with cream and sugar, and then you add like bourbon and cognac and however much money you want to pour into it. There's the yellow mixture, which is all that, and then you put it into the fridge overnight, and then the next day or afternoon you're having the party. Then you whip up all the egg whites, and you have a bowl that has been iced. So you, right before the guests come, you fold in the peaks of the whipped egg whites, and so you have a frothy, thick drink that's called eggnog, and then you serve it with, sometimes people serve it in silver glasses, sometimes people will serve it in glass glasses, and then you put a little sprinkle of nutmeg on the top, and it's always a very festive drink, and people are gathering around under the mistletoe and chatting and talking. So that would be a drink where you might be kind of chatty and talkative, but no one would ever drink eggnog at home alone.
Except me. I think I would. But you know what I've also noticed? I have seen this winter a lot. When you think of winter and drinking winter drinks, you always think of something that warms you up. But some people having like cold drinks instead. I've seen that. People walking outside, drinking cold drinks, and like iced coffee with bare hands, no gloves at all. Girls mostly. What do you think of that?
About girls drinking coffee?
About people who drinks cold drinks outside, iced coffee. Do they show off or just
Well, I know that once I went up to Manhattan, New York in the winter time, and we were going around some different little famous places, taking pictures, went to Rockefeller Center. We went up and down the elevators at the Trump Tower. We were walking through an area called Little Italy, and they have some famous restaurants and little ice cream shops. So we went into this one coffee ice cream shop, and you could order these Italian ices, which are not based on cream, they're based on water. But I got a hot coffee with a scoop of vanilla ice cream floating in it, and then alongside of it is served a little small glass of iced water. So it was very cold outside, but I had hot coffee with ice cream in it. And then I also saw mainly women also ordering iced coffee, and then they would put a shot of caramel in it, or they might put a shot of rum in it, or they might put something, but they were drinking iced coffee, and they were wearing ski jackets and little fur coats, and it was winter in Manhattan.
Well, I remember when I was a child, I just told you how I'm surprised when I see people drinking cold drinks in the winter. But I remember when I was a child, on the red hot days, my grandmother telling me to have a cup of black tea. It will help, to cool you down, she said. As a 7-year-old, this seemed like a crazy idea to me, especially when all I wanted was a cold lemonade and another ice cream. But apparently, that's where the secret lies. You drink cold drinks in the winter and hot drinks in the summer, and yeah, may actually.
Well, I know when I used to live in Turkey, I was in Ankara and also in Istanbul. That hot tea is they drink it every single season, all the time. So especially men will go to these little tea houses and just drink hot tea all day long.
And sugar, and they drink lots of sugar.
Yes,
with it.
Yes, with the little sugar. And I think you were telling me something about the way tea is served back in the Soviet Union. You were mentioning something about.
Yeah, because of the glasses, and you immediately said that they use the same glasses for tea in Turkey, and they're a little bit smaller, I guess, in Turkey. But I'm not. Yeah, but I was quite surprised.
But they take the. Well, sometimes in Turkey, they'll just have the glass by itself, but they also have it where they set the glass inside a metal little container that has like a little handle on it. And that's what I think you had shown me a picture of that.
Yeah.
I think also there are some little tea houses. We previously had an episode about trains with our guest, Mark, one of the previous episodes. But I have been to I've been to a tea house in Portland, Oregon, where Mark has also been, and it is a caboose that is turned into a little tea restaurant. So you go up the stairs, and then when you go in there are some nice comfy chairs you can sit in. There's a big general room where you can order specialty teas, and then there's a back room that has it's been added on to the back of the caboose, built onto the back. They have like a fireplace, and you can get teas from England or teas from China. And you were telling me about a tea you were drinking the other day called pu'er, or what was it called?
Yeah, pu'er in China they make it. It's quite expensive. They have to ferment it for 15 years sometimes in order to be like the best quality. But I guess that would be too expensive for my taste. In Soviet Union, the Indian tea were extremely popular, extremely like number one.
Well, also I have, people know I like teas, and they know I like cooking things, and they know I like coffee and chocolate. So sometimes people will give me as a gift a tea from someplace around the world. And I remember once I got a gift from that little tea house, and it was these weird. It was like, imagine you take tea leaves that are wet and you wrap them around each other. You make these little balls, these little tea balls and then it's dried out. It looks very scary, but they're dry and they come in a little container. Then you take one of these things out and you put it in it's supposed to be a clear teapot, and you pour the hot water on it, and you watch this ball
like
of
a flower.
tea
It opens up like a flower, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Exactly. And like the tea was a little bit too strong for me, but I liked watching the tea open up like a flower.
Yeah, that's kind of some kind of an art thing. But right now, when you said tea, I think I want to do something involving hot chocolate. I know I want to include cacao. I know in Germany, when I was in Germany, I've seen them using red wine to make Glühwein. It's traditional Christmas hot winter drink in Germany. I loved it a lot too. I loved how the house smelled when you're cooking it.
Well, when I lived in Germany, I also learned about Glühwein, and I kept thinking glue, because in American English we think of glue as something you use to
I know
tape or something. But it was. I remember we would go to these Christmas markets, and there'd be vendors selling this Glühwein, and even if you were underage, there was no drinking age in Germany. You get like a cup, and it has this mulled wine, so it's some kind of red wine base, and it has cinnamon and sugar and cloves, and sometimes a little piece of orange floating on the top. And then after we left Germany and came back to the United States around this time of the year, my mother has since passed on, but even though we weren't living in Germany, my mother would make that Glühwein every year. And now that she has passed on, I think one of my sisters knows how to make it. So yeah, that's going to keep us warm.
Now, when you mentioned the glue and what Americans mean by it, I think that Glühwein, if translated to English, would be a glow wine, because it makes you glow from the inside. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
I have to check on that,
okay,
but I guess that's
good.
the idea.
That sounds good. Well, I think I'm not sure if it was recently you were telling me about taking a piece of ginger and sort of shaving the ginger and then peeling a lemon and squeezing the lemon and the ginger into a little container and then boiling it. And then what did you do? You got the ginger root, the lemon, and then what did you add to it?
Yeah.
Some kind of ginger drink.
Yeah, we spoke about it the other day, but as I'm drinking vodka right now, I have to collect myself first.
I think you called it Jack and ginger.
You take a piece of ginger and lemon, and you remove all the peel, seeds, and all the wind, and blend it with water. And you strain the liquid from all the pulp. Press down on the pulp, okay, and to get the juices out. And once they're out, you heat up the liquid and enjoy. And if you like throw in Jack Daniels. I think that would be something to write home about, yeah.
That sounds really, really good. Well, during this winter season, part of this season is staying warm. So some people are building a fire. Some people are taking their quilts out, getting their blankets. Some people are lighting candles. Some people like scented candles. And we're glad that our subscribers stopped by today to hear about winter drinks. And we're going to be talking some more about staying warm in winter. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember that we must not let our spirits give way to grief.